I think the one thing that does play into, definitely when we get through to those finals, but we'll be starting things off here over on Sandhog.
Oh yes, here we go. This is what we were waiting for. The anticipation building, the environment, the stage, the fight, the clash between all of our teams. Day in, day out, the PUBG Mobile World Cup. It starts right here, right now.
We got the honey playing, so we certainly bring in the sugar, like we were saying. And this is the first treat of the day. And all our players ready to go. Al Hadji, you can spot him straight away down the bottom left. He is a big powerhouse inside of PUBG Mobile. Excited to see what he can do. Constantly coming back to the big stage.
Oh yeah, fan favorite for the region as well. Everyone was going absolutely ballistic in the crowd last year whenever they'd see Al Hadji popping off. I can't wait to see what he'll do this time around. Power gaming, never disappoint, buddy.
And there's Silas, top right. One of the best players in the world. I think that's an undisputed fact to throw that one out there. Let's see if he can lead his team to victory. As Max was saying over on the desk, a very consistent roster so far overall. We're jumping straight into things though. 4th rise over towards Hatin on a hot drop to start things off, Jackie. And Nongshan Red Force also down towards Ruins.
Well, let's see how this goes once we get into the action here and see what things are going to be developing like, obviously with those early hot drops, Blank. It's always exciting, mate. This is one of those where we get a little bit of a telltale sign as well if teams are going to pull off with some of these more default drops if it goes wrong.
We're already losing one. That's over towards Power. So 4th rise currently thriving over towards Hatin. We're on board with AX and Nongshan Red Force in the Ruins.
Scrambling to grab themselves some bits and bobs to fight with. Nongshan Red Force taking a bit of a dink towards the backside as well. DBS is in play. They start to make their move. This is real rough as well for Power, Blank. I mean, down to just one man left standing already. I know I was hyping him up a little bit, kind of a fan favorite for the crowd, but that is not a dream start whatsoever.
And 4th rise, 3 eliminations, 4 players still up and kicking. And they will be kicking Power out from Hatin going forward. On the other hand, Nongshan Red Force taking a fair bit of damage. AX currently looking a lot more healthy here compared to them. Controlling on the outside of Ruins right now. A little bit tough when you get on the back foot here, especially in terms of meds. Because a lot of these rooms do get cut off, and AX is starting to increase their domain within the Ruins itself.
Yeah, opportunity to play with though. Some weapons established there. Henry in the back line. With the DBS on deck as well, waiting for the close range. A little bit of scouting, keep your distance. No overcommit, they're aware of each other.
This could be good though for Team Falcons, of all teams actually. Head up towards that north side. We know that Ralph does like to scout out towards Ruins in the first place, and with the circle going over towards the east, if you can cut out 2 teams from Ruins, you open up a very consistent, easy path over towards Painan. Here's a replay coming through all the action that went down over towards Hatin. It was a rough and tumble of a start there for Power.
Yeah, brutal on the replay, catching the highlights from that one actually for Power Gaming. Mid-looting, quick to the drop, just able to make the play on it. Always the chance for maybe a little bit of acclamation if you can stay alive. But 1 player in the opening moments, first 15 seconds, yeah. Not the sort of sight that you'd like to see.
Ooh, nice.
Beautiful peek on it, Blank.
Yeah, good catch. Very, very good catch. And again, to be honest with you, AX, with the amount of control they've had throughout the entirety of this fight, they want to conclude this soon. They know they need to go towards that eastern side where our circle popped.
Equal trade so far. Looking to close the gap with DBS, but the quick burst back over, looking pretty good actually. These trades though, so messy. Either side taking heavy hits, and looking to see if they can convert. DBS just spamming out the shots. Need to play medic, get Henry back on his feet. Got the elevated fight, wide swing out on the corner, drop down into it. And there you have it. Come out on top in the end, being able to shut down the Red Force. Nongshan out on that one as AX will survive. Bit of a nail biter, but they get through it.
I mean, for AX, fans of that team will be very, very pleased with that one. And honestly, it's not what I was expecting. I'm happy to be surprised in that as well, because the control they had on that fight was spectacular. A lot of teams, when we see like this kind of an improvement and then heading over towards EWC, and it was sort of a surprise pick for us coming through. Yeah. I was excited to see it. I'm very, very surprised to see that kind of control coming through early. Now, the question is whether they can do that kind of thing to a much more consistent team with Lobby. You know, we're looking at scarier teams, Alpha 7, DRX, Ragnar Kaya, Weibo Gaming. Can they kind of have that success versus them? We'll wait and see, but to start things off, that was very, very clean by the books.
Even just to get the nerves out of the way immediately as well, like the, you know, the caliber of the stage you've immediately been thrown into, mate. It's one of those where that feels so good for you compared to the outcome of losing that. Especially
as a special invite as well, because in a lot of instances when we have that invite come through, a lot of times that team doesn't do amazingly well, but it's nice to have them here. But this is a very keen team to start things off, so I'm impressed. I'm impressed to start things off. Here's Regnum Kaya on your screens. Currently up towards Cal right now on the north side of the map. Locked in a fray though with Weibo Gaming. We might just be able to get some answers nice and early. Weibo versus Regnum Kaya, how that pans out. The well-known player, Order, star-studded player, in fact, in Order. Has had so much success and consistent success over the years. Order versus Silas, that could be a very, very fun matchup.
We can check in as well, of course, with our reigning champions at the minute, Alpha 7. Got Mafioso doing a bit of scouting work as well, the only player separated away. Squash, another big talking point that we'll develop into over the course of the event as well. Ciari's performing here. Bit of a new look. It's like 25%, I think the maths on that one, Blank.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's always been the case for Alpha 7, is just finding that fourth player. It's never been easy for them. Squash is returning to the game after a year. Took a little bit of a hiatus from it, but they immediately had him back. Fair play. It is unfortunate to see McGrellin not in the roster, though. McGrellin was a player that they had found massive success with internationally, and I thought, you know, that they would work with him, but I just think the team did not gel, despite the ridiculous amount of success they were able to find over at EWC. So yeah, weird. Weibo Gaming is going to give up the chase here, though. They're going to head down towards that south side. I reckon Kaya don't take any casualties off the back of that one, which is good to see.
Obviously, threw the highlight out there as well towards Falcons early. You can see they've had a relatively unscathed path up to this point. Going to go for the crossing as well on the bridge here. So potentially a bit of an opportunity for a skirmish to come up. AX as well making their move in now, coming over towards Painan. Again, not really had much of an encounter since. Nice to get the overview though with the map screen. You can see New Circle coming in and the shift for our teams here.
It's a cool shift as well on the circle. I've never ever seen a Lukawi finish in my entire time of casting PUBG Mobile. So we can go east again, end up in Lukawi. I'd be very, very happy. I think I've seen every other finish here on Sandhawk other than Lukawi. Five looks. Falcons are heading up here. I don't know how they're able to get towards this position unseen.
Man, that's an instant knock as well. Now, Valo being able to pick up pretty big impact onto this. Yeah, that's crazy. It felt like actually with the position they were in, there must have been some kind of visual contact from it. Really not ideal. Pretty quick nades on the cast out. Two knocks. Got one back over onto the Falcon side, Blank, but for what it is, a bit of a messy encounter here.
I think the Fireflux, if I was looking at, I think they tried to regroup from that northwest side and then come back down towards Cave to get together. But Falcons have been so silent on their approach, despite having the vehicle as well. Yeah. So you imagine here the engine, surely. And we're going to get our circle closing in just roughly 15 seconds. We're heading over towards the east side of Quarry. Now, Quarry is a big problem, Jackie, for a lot of these teams. It's low ground in there. You don't particularly want to head towards that position. There's a lot of sight lines from that eastern side of Quarry that are on the high ground looking down into Quarry. So you have to either go above on the north side or down towards the south. But it's going to funnel teams into awkward scenarios. So Falcons already taking out the majority of Fireflux. It's beautiful for the Ralph. Okay.
Oh, mate. You say taking out the majority, they might actually just take them all down at this point. Being able to track them all down there, perfect peek in, gets the drop on them, literally. Now, there has been a bit of a proverbial dinner bell that was rung, and that's AX on the rotate over. They would have heard some of this gunfire release, trying to at least carve a path back around. Don't want to half commit to this, seeing the Falcons are up on high.
I think it's a smart move from AX. I mean, the cave is a messy area. It's to try and push, try and play around, get those third parties in. You don't have exact location either. So I think for AX just a head ahead, you know, and they realize this is clean. We're not getting in contact with absolutely anybody on this rotate. So they get ahead. They sit on the edge of Quarry. And Falcons need to make a decision on how they want to play through. A lot of times on this circle, they actually shift down towards the south side here, Jackie, before moving up towards the north. So I'd be interested to see how they do play out these next moments. 4 Thrives. They won their fight over towards Hutton versus Power earlier on, and now have come into contact with Weibo Gaming. Now, that's kind of interesting to me, right? If Weibo Gaming didn't spend so much time over towards Cow, potentially they were here a little bit sooner than 4 Thrives, but felt like the end of the game for 4 Thrives here was just to get into the circle ASAP.
It is a bit of a split as well with the scout. So we'll see if he can make his passage safely. The solo head count, obviously Scarface, the only man left from the squad after the cave shenanigans that we saw, tucks himself in, and then you have Easy on the long old quest. He tanked himself up, late loot, just trying to make his way down. Obviously that was Power Gaming losing absolutely everyone bar Easy in the opening few seconds.
Come on, let's head north. Let's head north on this circle. Show me one Lukawi, please. Fun area of the map right now. You got like a lot of high ground that slopes down over towards Kampang, over towards the Kari itself. It's a little bit open on those high grounds as well. There is more buildings down towards that eastern side, but that means you are picking up the low ground early on. If you have to move out that area, it is a death sentence. Playzone takes down Toshbik. Now that is interesting. I don't know how that's happened for Breaking Kaya. They have really dallied on their escape outward.
Yeah, and you cannot afford to dilly-dally. It's time to lock in. And they're going to have 2 teams ahead of them as well. So the pathway forward is going to be a bit rough. Toshbik on the knock. You've got Weibo as well with the damage coming over the top. Before I get into close combat here, I mean, potentially the DPS. You've got the crossfire set up just on the doorway, but it's the nade usage that could make the world of difference. A few of them are back pocket, already a bit of splash damage over. Slight peek on the angle. Oh, hang on a minute. This really is a dinner bell. You got the third party just on the top of the ridge as well.
The thing was this though, Jackie, this is exactly what I was talking about. That high ground looking down to Lukawi is horrible to play against. Before Thrives though, they just need to worry about getting backstabbed. I think Team Vision has made their way on over, and there's Volt already finding T24. There's Angdon Galacticus finding Regnum Kaya, the entirety of them as well. Goodness me, just waiting for them on the wings there.
Yeah, fragmented, one knock into Toshbik, everyone else just being shot at from 2 separate sides. It really does start to crumble. This was 4 Thrives who were setting themselves up to get the third party down from the top of the ridge. Like you said, they've been ran up on, and it's not looking good whatsoever. Quickly, they are dispatched. Mopped up like a spilt drink, Blank.
It was a great push through from Vision. Honestly, Volt does a huge amount of work in that instance. I'm surprised that 4 Thrives fell for that so suddenly, and I think that's because they got a little bit too aggressive down towards the position early. And that is always the difficulty with taking that high ground, that your back is not protected. Aura though, no fear. Certainly feeling it now, it's a little bit. Soaz from DRX, of all teams, down towards the south side of this, actually getting slightly involved. And it's nice to see, you know, Horror getting aggressive, because it's exactly what Neptera talked about on the dares count. Teams maybe see them as a bit of a passive team, but no, they've got a little bit of a bite to them.
Oh yeah. Don't want to get those hands too close, they'll bite back. It's rough for Order as well, how he was setting himself up. Actually quite nice with the cook on the nades. You can see he was trying to just go in for the knock, didn't expect the shot from the side, instantly downed, and then fully committed because of it. Yeah, DRX might actually have a little bit more to say about this one, the longer it develops as well. You've got a good read on it. Oh, hang on a minute. Alpha 7 now dropping over. Mafioso trying to bail out. Damage comes through. Quick damage on the Carrillo. There's the pre-nade as well. Oh, nearly, mate. Couldn't get it through the window.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nade you should not be missing here in EWC, right? I don't think you should be missing those kind of nades. For Alpha 7, now they're surrounded. Revo, Mafioso, keep things under wraps. Team Secret, now coming over towards that building, over towards Revo is. He's got a big task ahead of him.
It was a cook on the nade, cast it out, doesn't look like it's going to be on target. Vision as well, scrapping. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side of the feed, it's all kicking off. Damage back down onto 4 Primes. That was the replay that we had there with the real action here. Let's see how it goes.
There's 4 teams in this compound, dude. This is unbelievable. You've got Yangon Galacticos, Alpha 7, Team Secret, E-Arena, all battling for control here. I think Team Secret picked their moment very nicely. I think Team Vision maybe missed their moment there. But they could have come down slightly earlier as opposed to looking over towards this fight happening between Weibo as well as Horror Esports in Lakawi. I think DRX does have a nice spot, you know, over on this eastern side. They can stalk the opponents on the west.
Yeah, it feels like they've been picking their fights nicely as well. You know, the one pick they were able to find was good timing on it. They're not overcommitted. They're playing the long game on this one. With everyone being so closely grouped, there's a lot of potential for a big point earner the longer it goes on. A lot of chip damage being thrown out between these teams as well. Weibo going down in the meantime. Another squad eliminated as they are thrown to the wayside. It's been so rough as well. Mafio so consistent, just taking so much damage, having to tuck in, really doesn't have an angle to fight from at all. Smile, be happy with that one on the peek back over. Good tag straight up, say goodbye.
It's a good unleash over towards E-Arena. Very nice angle to play in. Mormon goes down after all. Maybe Team Vision didn't miss a trick after all, by the way. If you can clean out Horror Esports, they have a very nice ability to kind of sweep on this eastern side. But I'm very, very excited to see who wins out on this compound eventually. Here's Marcelo. Again, this is what they wanted to do in the first place. They get rid of Horror Esports, then they can start to move down over towards DRX. They will cut themselves out a huge amount of space on the northeast side. And even if it goes over towards the west, they do have a scout in Never Alone, currently playing in a compound on that northwest, keeping tabs on that huge fight ongoing inside that compound that you see on your screen right now with Team Secret Alpha 7. Yangon Galacticos, nice nade. Comes through again. 6 elims on the match.
Yo, honestly, you've got to give props. Vision looking really crisp right now. That was a beautiful nade. Great timing on it. Ooh, hang on. Going to be able to get the full commit onto this, though. Looking for a window. Obviously wanted to get the pick back up. Couldn't do it. Zahora out on the adjustment there. Great work from Vision. Topping right now on the elim points. That's 8 that they're rocking with.
It's a really, really nice start. And Sandhawk is particularly good for this, Jackie, where you're able to get a big lead at the start of the day just because it encourages one team to take control of the match. That was a nice step out from Borizin, honestly. But Devotee, the reaction speeds on that were insane.
It's a good setup for this teammate as well, the way they've read it. You play off the back of the nade into the peaks. You've got to force them into the fight. It's a good engagement, actually. Like, impressive stuff. They've been playing a relatively passive game rather than the hot drop that we saw to start off with, but rotations have been all right. The teamwork looked pretty good. Rough on the move here, though. Limited cover to work with and Influence Rage. They take the peak up and do get the shot back over.
If it's quite honest, like it has been hard for them. There hasn't been too many areas to jump in. I mean, Arian will get ahead here. Well, it's Cyrax.
It's the easy cam. Oh, hey,
that's take out Influence.
He's literally had the backline this whole time, by the way. He's been slowly making his move in, right? He's rocked up, found Influence Rage, and made the play. Oh, easy.
Fair play. Fair play.
2 elim points. Can't actually turn your nose up at that blank.
No, you can't.
Let's see if he does any more. I'm rooting for him. Oh, footsteps heard.
Yeah.
Nah, he's not joking around.
Hey, I mean, he outlived 4 Thrives, though, so...
It's really not that bad, considering that could have been literally like a 0-point game. Like,
yeah.
You'll take it.
No, absolutely you will. They got, I think, a 2 off the back of that.
Yeah.
Nice. Yangon Galacticos will finish off Alpha 7 and get 1 pity point in terms of placements. Any other elims that came their way. Team Secret now struggling. And this has been a great setup from Vision. Honestly, this whole time. Look at this line that they've got. You can see it right there. Looking out over towards Team Secret as well as Yangon Galacticos. As they leave that compound, not only will they be trying to tear shreds out of one another, but it also will be Team Vision having some pretty deadly vision their way.
Potential stab in the back as well still. From Joker onto AX as they start to make their rotation over the top. Like you say, it's a good setup from Vision, but I'm also liking what DRX are working with. Oh, hang on though. Volt still keeping the electricity going. More so than anything, right? You're going to have that relatively equal tie right now in the elimination points between the both of them. Great game of how they've been keeping themselves involved. It's a nice sprint to at least have an understanding of the rotations in for DRX. Humbin was playing far further out, obviously scouting down. Nade onto the top. Never alone, takes a hefty hit from that one. Got to back up a bit. Team Secret caught in the crossfire as well.
Smile finding a lot of Team Secret there, so stolen away, a lot away from Vision, honestly, on their exit. You can see there that Yangon Galacticos, 13 elims this game. An absolute galactic performance from them. E-Arena goes down. Iron goes down as well. That's the Yangon Galacticos. Another tag on, which takes them up to 14 elims on the first map of the day. Beautiful stuff. It's Team Falcons that I'm interested in. You know, they've had a pretty casual game. They really need to make it count now, though. The big two teams who will be going head-to-head will be DRX and Vision going forward. DRX has been very quiet, though, Jackie.
They have, yeah. This is what we were looking at, right? Kind of passive, just the sort of third-party fights when they had a few off angles. Oof. Bullets raining down.
Funny thing, they have the circle. The Yangon Galacticos.
You know what, you are right. I mean, it's kind of awkward, right, with the split at least. A lot of damage onto them. With how many elims they've been able to rack up already.
Wow.
They're looking crisp, like, not going to lie, from the position you're in. Maybe there's still a chance to get a little bit more out of this one. Be a hell of a day if they can kick it off like this, Mike.
Falcons have to leave. Luckily for them, DRX as well as Vision just get into contact with one another.
Here we go. Scrap starting to unfold. Damage over the top. Marcelo with the peek up, spamming into the smoke. Vehicle over the top. Nade straight onto him as well. So Vision, it's getting risky. And that's DRX with the damage being dealt. Volt suddenly clambering to pick this one back up. Meanwhile, you've got DRX from the sideline with his own pushing in, nipping at their heels. They've got to be forced further forward. The nades blank with how closely grouped they are. One right on target would finish them.
What are you doing? They drove their own teammates into the barrage of nades. Smile goes down and Team Falcons now looking for the finish. But it was clean from DRX. Now looking to get all their players back up on their feet. We'll see if Team Falcons can finish with North. It's Ralph Koa, as well as Redux. Either side of the circle. Preliminary grenades going out over towards the hard cover, so you know they're working with no information.
Nades in. Stepping forward, the feet are on the ground right now. DRX, they saved themselves. Could have been misery in the previous fight. The smorgasbord of mistakes have kept them in it to win it, and Hyun Bin tries to unleash. That's one clean connection back on a round. Koa, low on HP. DRX dealing damage right now as the elims are racking up. In a position to close it and grab themselves a chicken dinner on the first game with the shots raining true. It's all on Redux. We need to be a clutch from the back line, and that's not going to happen. DRX will take it.
Yeah, coming to play here. It's not quite D plus K, but DRX are looking good on the main stage. Very, very nice to see here for them. Team Falcons will take that second place. It's a good position to be in for them, Jackie.
It really is. Beautiful stuff. I mean, hell of a start to the day for Yangon Galacticos, right? Like the elims, absolutely beautiful. You're taking really heads-up fights. You've been able to build up that momentum. For a first game, that's the performance I'd want every time. Yeah, we didn't get the chicken dinner blank, but the blood's pumping, the comms look clean. That matters a lot.
So now Ralph doesn't seem to lose that game, but I think they should be happy. They were working with little to no information there, and they really had to cut it down to the wire moving out from that blue. They were banking on Vision and DRX actually fighting one another, and it took so long to get involved. But what was that car blended?
Mate, it just felt so confusing in the moment as well, right? Because you're like,
why
okay,
are you backing your teammate?
You've got the intense fight here. What is this playing? Like, where's this going from? The comedy of error that then just unfolded into everyone obviously having to be closely grouped. You eat a nade, no spacing, nothing you can do. The difference of one nade is just completely removing them from what was otherwise a really great sort of mid-flow of the game.
The game was unreal from Vision, and to end in an embarrassing moment like that does feel rough. They still get themselves a lot of points on the back of it though, Jackie.
They really do, they really do. And a lot more action to come, so join us after the break.
2025 airdrop vouchers
they instantly send it.
There's been pretty bad start to squeezing out a match. They were just compounding elimination. I was like, It is. It's basically all the gun sounds that you hear is me walloping my lips against quite a hard material. And then I pitch it right down. And then bass boost it.
You were saying you could do the DBS live though, right? That's one you just do normally. Yeah. Do the acapella for the DBS.
Give me one. There you go.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. It's quite scary. I felt like we'd hot dropped. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, man. I'm looking to really improve on the S12K at some point. Because we're using the silencer on that thing. I quite like how it sounds just bass.
Right. Okay.
So I think we'll be looking into that one.
How did you do the explosive bow? Was that just that takes some time? That one sounded quite intense.
That was difficult. I actually had to procure an actual explosive bow.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. Well, that makes far more sense.
It was pretty tight timing as well.
Yeah, I suppose
they wanted it on a Tuesday. It was a Monday. I had to string the bow myself.
God.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, there you go. That was our new segment we're trying out here.
Yeah.
Facts with blank.
Yeah. On basically instead of arrows, I was just using fireworks.
Yeah. Wow. There you go. So, all right. Brilliant. That's what we've gone for. If you enjoyed that, let us know, of course.
Check that out.
Yeah, check that out.
Huzzah.
Some more of this. Huzzah indeed. Of course, just waiting to get underway here with our second game. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering why you've got some developer commentary going on and you're learning about how all the gun sounds are made in PUBG Mobile, well, don't worry. You haven't tuned into the wrong stream. You are in the right place and at absolutely the right time. And I think definitely, Blank, one of the ways I've described this, mate, is it is the right time for everyone but Alpha 7 in that first game. That just felt like it was so uncomfortable. The fights that they were thrown into, trapped in the compound, looking a bit lost, and they do look a bit deflated, I'm going to be honest.
I'll put it, for the rest of the team, maybe I look a little bit deflated, but I don't think I've ever seen Brevo like not looking like that in an international.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I suppose the bar, like you got to think about the bar.
Even when he won, it was a severe look.
It was a pretty we've done it.
Yeah, and then hats off to the guy.
Some of the mistakes. What I was wondering is his interview.
Falcons for now. The confidence came from mostly from all of us training together, grinding, and every day.
Gaming that had suck over towards Sosnovka.
Yeah, quite a wide split for the scout, mate.
That's a groin splitting split.
I don't think that. What was his name? Jean-Claude Van Damme? No.
Yeah. Was it Van Damme? Yeah, with the jeans.
Yeah, it was Van Damme, wasn't it?
Yeah. That would be the guy. That's what we're watching here. So. The Van Damme split.
Van Damme split, you're not wrong. Oh, okay. So obviously we were alluding to this a little bit. We were setting up the fact that Power could have had a bit of a drop on the Weibo, but it's not what we've seen. Instead, it's Influence, Rage that are here, actually getting a bit of their own back for Easy, who had the flank in the first map, obviously being able to instantly get the damage out. Al-Haji, not ideal. A big man for the team, but not able to deliver on that first encounter. For Dan as well, you have eaten that nade.
Ooh. But he Dan, just down. And it's unfortunate to see, honestly. I think what typically happens with Aiden is that when Al-Haji goes down, he really struggles. When he's up, he plays kind of centerpiece to that role where you do need him on the off angle to support Al-Haji when he goes to those pretty insane rollouts. But yeah, now just Ragnar and Easy try and make it happen. Got the doolies.
Trying to bait on a peak. wild spray of bullets, but teamwork's there for the close quarters engagement. It's not ideal. And again, literally the same story, bro. This is the worst outcome, right? Just Easy left alone as the solo, if he even makes it out, but everyone's gunning for him. Want to confirm the full wipe on the squad. That'd be Power Gaming going down as effectively the first full knock in both of the maps. Elevated angle over the top. They're going to dive onto him. Will eventually clean up. Took a bit of time to find it, but Easy's gone. You can get the save back onto him there. So Power out.
Smacked out his chewing gum. I'm so happy about it.
Success.
That's a successful push. Honestly, they chew down over towards Power. I'll tell you that right now for Influence Rage. It was freshly. Yeah, I think that honestly on Milter, there was no way that Easy was getting out from there. You're backing it up to where he was. It was just complete open ground. There's a couple of buildings, and they would just isolate his position, located him, targeted him fairly quickly. But it's a quick cleanup over towards Milter as well.
It was. Obviously, we were kind of setting this one up with a bit of a breakdown on the split situation there. It's 4 Thrives that would be in the middle of the group reconnecting from that side if you're making the late rotate in from Sosnovka. I am curious to see how we will actually end up playing over the course of this one, because they're setting up the idea like, oh, a bit of a chance there. We'll see if Power Gaming can start things off better. Didn't go that way. It wasn't the storyline we got. Again, results them going down first. You've got potential as well. I think the longer these games go on, Blank, the longer the day goes on, potentially even for them. I think this is where we're going to see more and more of that team being able to deliver. There's so much talent on there, you know, tip of everyone's tongue saying that this could be the chance for that side of the region. They can start showing up again. So I'm curious if they're showing us a bit of innovation for some of these plays.
Yeah, I sort of understand it where you send Sukat down towards Sosnovka on the eventuality it is the south circle. But even then, like, you could make an efficient rotation across, and maybe it's a case where Suk in that situation just takes some pot shots over towards 4 Thrives as they make their way across the bridge, and then they can group up. But I think that the risk doesn't outweigh the reward here, honestly. It's going to be difficult to get back together. There's potential that Suk can take some vehicles, take a boat back around towards them, but by then you have delayed your rotation by a ton. For Falcons, on the other hand, no hot drop over towards there. Though my main takeaway from this game is because it's such a southern playing path, it doesn't really tell us too much about the drop spots, because these were a lot of backups being used.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. It's a good point to keep in mind, obviously, in terms of how it's going to affect things here. Give us some different results over the course of the day.
I was stressing going into the next match. They're like, do we want to drop Yas now?
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's the awkward part. Because obviously, once it kind of is forgivable and it feels a bit rough and you can fix it, the second time it happens, that's when it is instantly like, we're at the halfway point of the day, boys. Like,
yeah.
It's already creeped up on us, you know?
How do you fix this? You have to get the screwdriver and kit out, figure out where the loose screw is.
I suppose at least the only blessing, like Max was saying, there is a decent gap. If you look towards, obviously, what, 6th upwards, it's not that much of a difference with points, right? So, like, obviously, if you just actually start to build your way back in, everyone else doesn't have a crazy spread, then maybe it's not the end of the world. But the likelihood of that obviously has a lot of bells and whistles attached to it.
Yeah, and as we know, Jackie, for the group stage we're starting off with, it really isn't that unforgivable to go down too early. We're going to get 8 teams going through towards straight through, and then we have 8 teams going through to the survival stage, battling it out. Right, that's what we want to see here. So there is still a lot of chance for our squads to remain in this one for a long, long time. So it will be 16 teams in that survival stage. 8 of our top teams will be heading straight through towards those finals we'll be playing later. So we won't really see any teams or their keys being crushed until after that survival stage.
Yeah, you got to wait for the spectacle. Like Barney was teasing, when the iris opens, sparks will be flying. So you won't want to miss that as the action develops here. I was kind of hoping a little bit, actually, we would get a run-in between these two with how good Yangon Galacticus looked into the previous matchup with Alpha 7 on the roam over. And it's DRX in the back line, so potential for the rotates in actually being quite spicy when the fights break out.
Yangon Galacticus pretty close towards what I would say is a fairly central position. Now roaming around towards gas station, and that side of the map pretty barren over towards the pizza slice that just sits on the northwest side of the map, which is very, very open. You don't really want to play around there. Always do find that that cross from shooting range off to that eastern side is a bit more awkward, which is why you're seeing much more teams down towards that southeast around Yasnaya. And staying far enough away from the field. So there's a lot of treacherous zones here that you don't really want to go into. I'm sort of surprised we don't have any teams trying to bank over towards Rozok. I guess for Regnum Karya, they're keeping a player back in Wild so he can quickly dash back over towards Rozok if needs be.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's see though. Let's see what this is going to do in terms of the shift and how the zone rotate will affect things. Blank obviously favors more central overall. Actually not too bad really, especially in terms of the group that you've got there. So DRX still being able to play on the outer edge, everyone else making their move in. Falcons obviously slight adjustment there. Pachinki obviously open entirely as well, so we're regrouping up. It's a late rotate in through the blue for Weebu, and they'll have their focus in on a little bit of a late joining.
I think, honestly though, for the circle, pretty rough. You have the entirety of the field right here on the map, which is just bare open ground, and then the pizza slice I was talking about earlier, which is on that southwest side of Stalba, where the two roads make that kind of triangle slice. That is fairly open too. So this is pretty tough for a lot of teams to remain, and I would probably bank on at least 2 or 3 teams going down over the course of the next circle, maybe circle and a half.
Definitely a lot of potential. Not much cover to play with, limited opportunities for the compound, so fights could be coming your way.
Absolutely, you're right. Team Falcons down towards the southwest edge. Like you said, Chinky was free as they'd left it quite early, but they're going to have to get past school right now. They're over towards apartments. A little bit more difficult to see because we are cramming 15 teams into a small space because they're all avoiding that fielded area. They're trying to take up space around some of the remaining compounds. You have the river that cuts through into the lake. It's a weird circle. It's a very weird circle. I do like this position DRX has. To catch teams playing on those outer shacks and outposts just over towards the western side of Yasnaya on the lake. You can control a lot of area from this top side. Now, how will DRX handle Alpha 7 though? Because the rest of the team is making their way on over with Creo, Squash and Revo just off towards the west.
It's Mafioso just playing on the lip here of the rock face. He's had the vehicles approaching, the engine giving that away. Just tucks in, has to play on the off angle realistically. If they peek into him, he seems like he's got a good read on the situation at least, but spacing from the teammates relatively far. DRX trying to get a lay of the land, assess if anyone else is coming in from the other side. Didn't actually find him. He pushed up towards the rock face as well on the peak. He leaned in for it, but neither one gave away the info fully. So obviously it's just the audio he's playing off for now, staying tucked in. If they push ahead of him, could backstab them really nicely.
They have no idea. They're properly confused on what's occurring. We're going to get our next circle. And it wasn't as treacherous as I thought it was going to be. But this one is going to push a lot of teams away from the fields, at least from Yasnaya, so teams could be happy about that. But it's across the river, Jackie. Over towards AX, E-Arena. Weibo's made a good wrap, actually, as well. Over towards this north side. They are coming through that open ground, and Alpha 7 could chime in over towards that western side. We'll see how it happens, but Alpha 7 is so focused on taking over towards DRX, but DRX is left.
Join now with Alpha 7's POV straight back in, and this is what you were saying, the rotate over there, taking shots from the back line. Squash, we know that he can be talented, and unloading at the minute, snapshots over the top just as they tuck into the compound. A lot of chip damage onto them, yeah, massively so, and you can follow up from it as well. I mean, Order in a horrific position, they just keep finding these knocks. Late game rotate, like it's been nice for them, but it results in this.
That's an important knock over towards Yangon. Galacticos coming through from RCB. But Weibo Gaming can get themselves back up. This is a Hail Mary of a play, Jackie, all right? In terms of where they are on the map, it's very, very central. They'll take the Wizard Tower here, which works out nicely. But they basically need to hold this position for the rest of the game. The vehicles are shot to bits. The tires are going to be all popped by the time they get out to them. So Weibo Gaming is not moving. At least not until the end game.
No.
Well, what are you doing?
Mate, he actually made it in. Oh, it couldn't have been better timing on it. Straight Benny Hills out up the stairs, wanting to get himself into the high ground.
This is a risky play.
No, it's
there's no one there to help him.
He just went for it.
It's like, we need the high ground.
Yeah.
We need to play off the high ground.
I've got to go.
I've got to go. I've got to go.
I've got to go. And he did. Go, he did.
Yeah. So that was literally a player. I guess the reason they do it is that making that play later, you're going to have 3 or 4 teams looking at you. So this was the only time to do it. Respect the fact that, you know, when it's crunch time, they're ready to play inside the crunch.
I mean, like, honestly, they've been kind of subverting expectations already with this matchup, even if it hasn't been just off the back of like, oh, we're seeing some crazy gun skill. They're keeping you guessing a little bit, which at times, thriving in the chaos, can be incredibly beneficial. Seems like non-ship Red Force taking a knock there, though. We've got a bit of a follow-up as well, with AX getting thrown into the fight. Falcons, of course, here having a whole load of shrapnel thrown towards them. Narvalo is down. Still in a position where he can tuck around the back of the stairs and be saved, at least. Arian trying to just throw out some bullets to keep them guessing. Does he actually want to push up? It's a nice nade over towards where Koa is. Can cook this one perfectly. Chuck it in top.
Ooh, it's pretty nice, actually, yeah. I think for AX, they're way more concerned about this next circle. Jackie, the amount of water in this is staggering, only for it to be over towards that southeast side with the fields.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous body of water. You think about the limited amount of space you've actually got to play with in the zone because of this. Okay. I mean, this has already been a bit of a cheeky one, Lang. So let's see where it goes. Nongshing Red Force here, just eating bullets, trying to use the water as some sort of additional cover to work with, throw it off, but no. I mean, Alpha 7, eyes like a hawk at the minute, dialing onto them. We do say goodbye to another one of our squads here. Going out second, of course, with Power Game, the only full wipe that we had way back at the start of the game. That's why there's so many teams still in play here this late into the matchup.
And this is a really interesting position from Regnum Karya, where they're underneath the bridge right now. They're playing the bridge, but the fact that no other team has really challenged that position as well is a staggering thought to me, honestly, because a lot of times you'll have teams on either side. So Regnum Karya being able to hold this, it doesn't seem like the best position in the world to be literally on the iron girders underneath there. But it does keep you alive a long, long time. Doesn't always necessarily give you the winning position of the game, but I think for a lot of teams, survival is quite important in this particular match with this kind of circle.
Okay, here's 2 names we haven't had to say too much during this matchup, but of course were very prevalent in our first outing of the day. You've got 4 Fribes and also Vision. They're both fighting down towards the outskirts. Similar kind of setup here, actually, with some of the teams that could be going head-to-head relatively soon. AX on the force down with E-Arena coming in from the back line. Henry might get caught. And you've got Falcons that will be waiting in the wings as they get lower down towards the roadside as well, with Vision onto them. Oh dear, Blank. Potential for some interesting little bouts here. It's a wide spread, though, from the arena. So they've got a lot of a lay of the land onto it. They can try and get a bit of vision onto the backside with DRX and Alpha 7.
He can't really afford to play anything too close here for E-Arena, because the space is just absolutely diabolical to play in. IQ, very, very good player. Been playing for a long, long time. Smart guy, hence the name. Looking to lead for Thrives towards a victorious push here versus Vision. They already find some good damage over their way. He's slowing it down. He's running circles around them.
Vision realistically just have not had an opportunity to move too much over the course of the past few minutes. We'll come back to that for as it's DRX. They've got the opening chicken dinner of the day. Now they're just being given an explosive breakfast with Nitro being thrown their way. Nade after nade on top. Weebu as well, still being able to get stuck into the fight from the side as the bullets hit. Hyunbin on the nade back, good for one, but he's got a full army coming his way. I mean, this is E-Arena, the wall of smokes in front of him, effectively just him left. Everyone else has been taken out, so DRX, if they want to get the back-to-back wins, it would need to be an unbelievable effort just from Hyunbin with an awful lot to get done.
Yeah, he's in a bit of a struggle position. Luckily for him, E-Arena is getting walloped from the sidelines. Oh, what a problematic smoke there. Dissipates, and his eyebrows raise and are visible to E-Arena. Falcons somehow make their way in front of AX here, which is nice, and obviously take out the opposition, but what a disgusting circle this is. All lake, all field. Fireflux currently holding down towards Vision and 4th Drive, so even if one of those teams gets away with their life, they're still going to have to deal with shots coming through. But Vision actually able to sneak on past using that ridgeline on the west towards the roadside to make that happen.
Nade after nade. It's good damage. AX being able to find opportunities to fight on their terms in both matchups we've seen today. Going for the full crash as well. The Rhino maneuver with the vehicles over the top side, hitting heavy onto the Falcons. Now Valo at least with the reply back, good for one.
No.
The nade on top of the team. Oh, Henry goes down and so do the Falcons. Oh mate, feels like no one really wins there.
To be honest, I think that should have been an AX just wiping out Valo. Plays a risky game, drops a nade at his feet, finds 2 on the knocks. Somehow it happens, Team Secret, Lil Boy will go down. That's Jaiki in the back there. This is Team Secret all the way on the northeast side, coming out from Yasnaya. Alpha 7 made a big swim down towards the center of the circle. As we said before, Weibo have just not been able to move all that much. Their vehicles are shot. It is Yangon Galacticos still making this one happen, though they lose Say Cloud.
It's nice seeing the energy as well from Team Secret actually into this one. A lot of yelling already from them on the player cams. You can see they're trying to keep themselves fired up. Opportunity to steal away a couple of elims so far. And it's put them in a pretty good spot. I mean, you know, Influence Rage, top spot with 6 points, but you're at a close second, still able to build more as well. We've got 4 players alive. Now, off the back of what was a crazy dive in, Order still from a position to find more impact. Team Secret still popping up there and again and again.
Regnum Kaya, they've got a lockdown on this western side of the circle. It's such a nice place to be in where you really don't have much competition. They can get involved when they want, playing off from this bridge position. And again, a lot of teams didn't put stock in this, and I don't know why Regnum Kaya was the only team to make that choice earlier on to pick this one up. And to be honest, it's a bit of a change, honestly, from their usual play. I think that they took their time moving from Grozok a little bit further across towards apartments. A fair few times on these kind of circles, they've been caught out where they move too far and too fast. The circle ends up coming back their way, and then they struggle in the future because of it. And it should have been an easy pickup. Order attempts to make the cross, and that will be one. More in the pocket of Regnum Kaya.
Yeah, the man himself, Silas, on screens, looking to find some impact on this one and build up the elims for him from the position they've got with the cover to play off. Now Weebu, been taking their time. Feels like they've been, given a bit of plot armor with some of the fights they've survived throughout this map. Maybe that's about to change. It's a good peek in. Loxy lops them up, shuts down one. There's the reposition close into the ridge as well. The rest of the squad not really in a position to attempt to trade, and the angles just don't favour you. You've got covered either on that side with the rock face, you've got vehicles to play off of. My God, with a quick peek, good headshot there.
Yeah, that was nuts from Toshbek. So low though, but you need to get that headshot coming through from the Mini 14. Sec 3Z going down, just Sook remaining, our slightly more unorthodox player coming through from Weibo. On that big split they had earlier on. Alpha 7 do make it across, by the way. They did a heavy amount of damage, but managed to make it happen. Toshbek looking now, but you can see from staying in this spot for a long, long time, resources aren't looking all that great.
Yeah, running low. That's the factor that could come back to bite them the longer this one goes on. I was curious to see if things would keep developing in a good manner for Team Secret as well, as they had a nice little bit of choreography there for a while. They were finding fights where it looked like it was working well. I mean, up to 6 elims, but they've been shot in the back. They do at least still get the knocked player back up, so it's going to be okay to reset from it. That's the last remaining member of E Arena as well, just down towards the coastline there in Joker. Meanwhile, Alpha 7 low here on resources, but can they build back up from forcing out?
What are you doing, Carrillo?
Oh, mate, what's happening? Made him.
Hey, here's an initial fight from earlier on versus Influence Rage, and Drang just holding it down in that front line. Diego goes down as a hopper from Lil Boy and just holds the angle, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. Kind of setting this one up where it's like, oh, this could be big for them, force them out, take the position off them, get some gear. Nade to the back of the face. Love that, but let's see if they can save Revo, get him back in the fight. Meanwhile, they're being collapsed upon though. So this is Hora coming in from the top as well, looking to really put the pressure on here. No fear, living up to his name. Nade over the top, burst in air. Hora with the first knock back over. Seems like Silas as well, taking that one straight to the dome. It's a 3-pointer. Oh, mate, beautiful work done. We move out in the meantime. Sleep, he has his legs blown out on the nade back over from Alpha 7.
If he hits this. It's so close, bro. That second nade was unbelievable, but Forever was able to make his way down and hit the shot. Regnum Kaya will go out there. 6 elims. I think that was a good game from Regnum Kaya, all things said. They just got themselves into a position where couldn't quite figure out a way to remove themselves from it. Again, I don't think the circle favors them at all here. So I do think it was decent. For Carrillo, yeah, head down focused. Definitely should feel a little bit guilty about what he just did over towards Revo, who was revving up to get a good nade over towards Regnum Kaya earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like you say, if you can at least recover it individually, then it'll be all right. We can forget about the bad times and the possibility of it maybe being better than it should have been. Well, we'll go from here. You forced out the team underneath, so no one blocking your path. It allows at least a bit of a reset from Hora. A lot invested into that, though. Unfortunately for them, they were hoping it would be way cleaner, right, on the dive in with a third party. You get left with just 2 players. It is going to slow you down. So many nades used as well from them. So back pockets relatively empty, and there's not much to pilfer from what was underneath the bridge.
Yeah, this is such a weird circle as well. You do not see this kind of circle for many, many months at a time. It's a very, very odd one. I don't think I've seen the circle end up around here for a long, long, long time. Pretty much for Thrivesource, Fireflux do have a big position here purely because they have the ridgeline to play around between one another. It's going to be Hora, No Fear, Alpha 7, Team Secret, and potentially E Arena who's going to be getting themselves involved with one another. Obviously, the big difficulty though for Thrives and Fireflux is that eventually that ridgeline is going to be useless to them because they're going to have to move over towards that north side.
Well, Hora might have just outlived potential expiry date they've had on this one. No Fear, the last to fall, as Revo will get revenge for the damage back over into the previous encounter towards the bridge. And he can save his teammates. You will still have 2 of the Alpha 7 squad alive and kicking, trying to play off each other here. Let's see, maybe they can build themselves back in, have a great start into the second game of the day, and show us the reigning champs have a lot of fight left in them. Team Secret though, Blanket, I'm curious to see actually if they could show up on this one. It's been nice from some of the mid-game fights that we saw them taking, and I love how fired up they look. Like instantly into this matchup, they're yelling, they're going for all of the good comms. That's not what you want though. Sideline shot back over, quick trade, headshot onto Revo with a mini 14. It's a nice knock again. They're feeling the pressure from this position.
It's bad though. This is the worst time for Revo to be able to find a shot like that. For Alpha 7, they're far into the circle already, but this next one's going to start to push them. And to be honest, in that moment, Team Secret likely wanted to start finding a bit of a foothold in the future. You can see Fireflux here locked into the tiniest ditch available, and the circle is going to continue to push them further inwards. I like the way 4 Thrives is playing this. They've got that lineup, so even if Fireflux are able to send a nade across, they've got way more space to play in, and they are taking advantage of that space as well. So these nades have got to be absolutely sublime from Fireflux.
Had a decent amount of them to work with as well, and you can see how they're setting this up. Good comms on it, slightly staggered with the nades going over, looking to make sure they can commit onto the knock player just a little bit shallow. It's such a substantial distance though. Definitely trying to see if they could force out the 4 Thrives members and punish them. Oh, this could be good. Perfect timing. Waits for peek up, slap back over though, Blank. It's not for free. They're actually able to at least get a quick trade onto him, so good heads-up play.
The Bush had a framework made of metal, stopped that buggy in its tracks. The Fireflux ruined by that moment. They really just wanted to get across and start taking shots at the 2 players remaining from 4 Thrives. In the meantime, though, Madcap will go down, as will Scarface, and it's looking pretty grim right now for Fireflux. Alpha 7 and Carrillo, as well as Revo, I mean, that is a dynamic duo and a half, and they could make something work out of this game.
Potentially so. There's always a chance. There really is. Fortunately for 4 Thrives, now it's just one that has to thrive. That's all that's left for them. And like you say, a bit of a split there. 2 teams in terms of the battle of attrition that do have 3 players alive, but limited resources to play with, and the cover really isn't there for most of these squads. So closing the gap between one another, it's risky. It's all or nothing. You've got to peek in, off your teammates' contact, and commit to those elims. You can't mess around on this one. And Secret looking very agitated, obviously aware of the Alpha 7 position, knowing it's do or die on the peak.
For Team Secret, the lucky thing for them is that they have a lot of hard cover in front of them, and those rocks, as well as the tree line. This is wild from 4 Thrives, but they knew where Ketch was, and they're just looking for 3rd place. It's a smart maneuver. They're going to confirm points. I actually like a team that does that, that takes it into their own. What?
Okay, goodbye Team Secret. That's how that goes, mate. The damage over the top with an aid, and the absolute aggression from Alpha 7 that throws us back into a head-to-head 1 versus 2. Revo looking to let it rip on the shots over the top, and there you go. Alpha 7, your reigning champions. They might have struggled on the first game, but they're back. They mean business, and they take that one home.
I mean, that's an apology and a half from Carrillo. I'm going to win the game for you. I'm going to win the game for you. Trust me, trust me. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I mean, I was praising 4 Thrives for the fact that they knew where Ketch was. And they were like, we're going to just secure a 3rd place. We'll leave Noki behind, and then he could try and go for a 2nd or a 1st if he's lucky. And in that moment, I think Team Secret gets so flustered. Yeah. These just get torn to pieces. But there was so much opportunity, in my opinion. It's 2 guys from Alpha 7. They're more putting presence than everything behind those rocks. You just send out over towards that hard cover, towards that tree line, instead of sitting behind that vehicle. You have a much better chance towards that late game. And I think it was just that menacing characteristic from Alpha 7 that kept Team Secret in an odd spot.
Yeah, it felt like Secret into that matchup, you know, they had some good knocks from the sidelines where they were able to play off a bit more of a passive position. But by the end...
Talking about the grenade.
Yeah, I know. He's just giving it. He's just giving it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is ironic, right? That was the only outcome. Like, you gotta just win it. If you just win it, doesn't matter. We'll be fine. And that's what he does. That's what Alpha 7 do. And you are going to wait until we're back in a few moments' time. We'll see you in a sec. Again, actually, we do get sort of the distance there from Team Secret. We do seem to be playing this far slower wick of the game. Let it burn late into the night, you know, don't want that one to burn quickly.
Yeah.
Although I will say the problem was the minute they were actually thrown a bit of a broader sword, it was panic stations. That's where it went wrong.
Well,
right?
there was no parries.
No.
There was absolutely no parries involved there at all. Even the dodge roll looks sluggish on the side of Team Secret. Heading on towards the pubg as well, and I do have something to say about the pubg is that although decent position, it's all right. You do actually see a lot of pro teams these days like moving away from the pubg as a spot. If you can get somewhere further in towards the circle and completely play towards that, you take that. Even if that means holding over towards one of the west or eastern side of Yasnaya, that's fine. But yeah, we'll see how teams play this now. It is a pretty packed map already. But I think that Team Secret, after seeing that, playing in the Pop Cup means you have to push through a lot of teams just to get towards the initial circles, and those initial circles are over towards the southwest side. It cuts a lot of Sosnovka in, which is a bit of an awkward one, where you're not sure if we'd be heading across or not. It would be cool to see a Sosnovka this early into the tournament, though, Jackie.
Yeah, it'd be fun, man. It'd be nice if we actually do get it thrown into the mix. I do love these wide splits. Sorry, just a highlight there. I know, obviously, map feed-wise, just looking at how Weibo are going to be able to rotate on this one. Nowhere near as drastic. Backline of the DRX late. But anyway, we'll focus up with what's happening here. You've initially got the POV of Alpha 7. Alpha 7, for those of you tuning in, of course, I'm sure you're aware, they are currently the crown holders, the kings themselves, who took the trophy last year in a rousing affair. Some incredible plays, back-to-back games where they were popping off. And really, it was a bit of a nail-biter towards the end of last year. Like, you know, you're thinking sort of them and Reject, like who's going to take it, which region's going to show up. Coming into this one, I was a bit worried with the result in the first game. Glad to see a massive show up, even with it just being a duo that had to get so much done. Some diligent PUBG Mobile shown from them in the previous outing. How's the rest of the day going to go, though? Will Neptura's hot take become a reality? A back-to-back chicken dinner for them would instantly be the landslide of, all right, maybe it is going to happen again. Like, that's the sort of hype you want on a day one.
I think for Alpha 7 in particular, they're a team that really, when that momentum starts getting rolling, it's hard to stop them. They're very much like an avalanche in that respect. It's hard to deal with that, and if you're not careful, you are going to get covered and buried underneath the snow. Alpha 7 is going to be bringing down upon you. So I think that for Alpha 7, getting that win there, especially where it mends that relationship between Cleo and a Rebel very early on, that could have been difficult for them. But that makes you feel really good, you know, because instantly, instead of having what would have been a little bit of an annoyance, right? It's a bit frustrating. Now you have a bit more of that brotherly bond once again been stricken there in that map, which is cool. It's very cool to see, and I think that would help them. And I don't think Neptune is far off from the mark. I do think for Alpha 7, this game could easily be a good one.
No, absolutely. Even though she was smirking while she said it, the point does really reign true and could certainly have a lot of credence. And you're right, bro, you know, not cutting the cheese with the chalk. I think absolutely it's one of those where you would have been fuming with each other had you gone down on the back of that nade with
two key players as well.
Right? Instead, you won it, and like you say, it's brotherly love, everyone's having a good time, the boys are back in town. DRX, they were in town for a second there, but one of them has instantly been shut down. You've got the drive in from Falcons that have spotted a weakened target. Solo and isolated. Blessing from that, you do grab another vehicle off the back and get the 1 point.
Yeah, unfortunately, DRX went to town. You know, it's like a boys' night out. You're going to lose one of them eventually.
Where's he gone?
You find him at home later.
So I actually never came out. I was at home the whole time. Sorry, guys. Stayed in the plane.
The DRX down to just 3 players there. They had a good start to the day, but if you look at that, 19 points, that's all the points they earned there on Sandpot.
True.
They earned nothing on that last game, and I think that for Arangel it's a very important map to be able to perform on, so I'd be very unhappy to see them go to Arangels with nothing to show for it. The Falcons, though, we were talking about earlier, you were talking about feeding the hot hand. I like what the Falcons are doing. I do worry a lot of times about the Falcons in terms of their more passive gameplay. I think that there are definitely moments where I think Redox and Narvalo certainly need to take a leaf out of Koa's book and just be a bit more aggressive. And it's funny that one of those passive players on this team, historically at least, Ralph is one of the players who I think has been the most influenced by Koa's gameplay. So yeah, I think that that's what I'd like to see from that team, especially here where they have the ability to experiment a lot. But it's nice to see them having just continued success.
Yeah, it's hard as well because it's a double-edged sword when you have such a really infused fan base like Falcons do, especially when we're here, right? Like we're in Riyadh, we're in Saudi Arabia, you can see the excitement that's going on there. Everyone's cheering after they get an elim, after they make a play. Yeah. That goes both ways. If suddenly everyone goes quiet, you notice it, and you know it's for you four alone.
Dude, even in PMSL EU over towards Turkey side, right? When they were playing there, they looked stressed on their bad games.
All eyes on you, bro.
They look stressed on their good games. And I think that there is a lot riding on them. There is a lot riding on them here. I think personally, if they can at least get to the top 8 after this group stage, I think they'll feel so much more comfortable. Just going straight through to the finals there and not having to deal with it, that will be the ideal scenario.
I mean, even if you think about just the fact we were saying, like, oh, everyone is literally forced to stare at Alpha 7 on a pedestal, on a plinth, literally in the arena. They were called out by name. They were there. Everyone else sees Falcons as well, separated from the rest of the squad. It makes you kind of have that animosity of, we should take them down. We should make sure, you know, that extra oomph on the other teams, where some people thrive on that. Like those little elements come into your mental game. It affects how you play PUBG Mobile. Suddenly it starts to change a little bit. You see those targeted fights. It gets spicy. This is more of a story we'll develop over the course of the event. We'll see how that starts to ebb and flow. But it's just something to have in the back of your minds for the viewers at home. Weibo, I think it's been, I'd say, nice, at least in terms of the way they have been playing to their strengths. They've had some really crazy dives, crazy rotations, but they've made it work, so I can't fault it too much. It's obviously just not been the best in terms of converting it into actual placements or eliminations.
I think that there's one region that just will make those kind of plays, and it's something that I always massively adore about that region, especially that play from Su, because while he's just running up the stairs, a lot of teams just won't take the opportunity. They won't make that play. But Weibo and that region in general is one of the few regions like Americas where it's a case of, we need high ground, but it's like a 90-10 scenario where I will get eliminated for doing it. But they will take that risk because they know that if they don't do it, they may as well be throwing away the game anyway. So they'd much rather take those risks early, which I think does put those teams in a much better position. And I think it's a type of squad that could get a very, very high elimination game over the course of this group stage. We'll have to wait and see. AX currently very central. We're heading around Gatka at the moment and just south of Pachinki. It's a bit more flat around this area. There is fielded area 2. You don't really want to heading down towards Ferry Pier because you're cutting yourself off the sight lines. There's a fair amount of water in this one. We were worried that it was going to go down to Sosnovka. It didn't do that, so a lot of teams can now consider coming back up. Power, I think it's reasonable they head towards Sosnovka. It was one of the few plays they had in the back pocket on the happenstance we did go down towards that part of the map. They would have had a fantastic position. Now they've got to figure out how to get across.
Yeah, something to potentially keep your right eye on, whilst your left eye's on this side. We can touch on Horror a little bit as well. I think, again, it's one of those where they had some unfortunate encounters, like No Fear. In terms of the timing and the setup he had, it was really good cooking with the nades. You could see, like, he had his understanding down to a T, mechanics were nice. He was just hit from the side, where it was a really sick off angle for DRX back in game 1. Again, I think that's a team that potentially, if they're not sort of showing up too much, maybe you start to underestimate them, they'll find a way to start to climb, because there's a ton of talent there. They do just need the opportunity to display it. We've seen a few bits from Squash, but it's interesting, obviously, we've not really had as much opportunity to keep our eyes on him. I'm curious to see how he's going to build over the course of the event, because I feel like, again, man, it's a lot you're thrown into here, you know, like the live environment for him, you're coming in, all the pressure on, as you've got the trophy, your team won it, you've got to live up to that again this time. Showing us the moves at the minute. Vision, it's rough. It was a good start, game 1. Here, instantly isolated, you find the scout, take him down. That's E-Arena that grabbed that. With Joker showing up consistently. He's been the big dog, I'd say, so far for E-Arena.
Yeah, it looks like he's enjoying himself as well. I think for Vision, there's been a lot of times where, if I'm quite honest with you, the awareness hasn't been great.
That's fair.
Hasn't been great in terms of where they're playing. I mean, we even saw that from, I believe it was E-Arena again on the last Erangel, where they were on a split over towards the top side. They were able to just move in there and immediately isolate them. So I think for Vision, that is something that needs to definitely be improved, which is just the overall awareness around the map in terms of that scouting, because teams will be taking opportunities absolutely anywhere they can find them. These are the best teams in the world coming to the PMWC, the PUBG Mobile World Cup. Right? This is not an easy stage. It is not an easy stage to play it.
Quick shout out to the production team, by the way. Loving these transitions. They've been nice. They've been really nice. It's good setup when we do get our circles coming in. Pat on the back. You guys are killing it. Everyone is. It's been a good day so far. And of course, this is the halfway point. It's why it really starts to matter. We get a feel for how things are looking, the lay of the land as we develop into the later portion of today's games with the zone on the move.
I think that's Toshpik actually going down there for Regnum Caillou. He's a bit split off from the rest of the team, and they were making that move out down towards the south side, and I think he just gets caught on the back of that rotate. They'll still have 3 players to work with there for Regnum Caillou, which is not terrible. It's not always the best position in the world, but this is one of those spots where you take it early on the circumstance that we do get this fielded area, and this becomes actually one of the stronger positions because it is so open ground around it. That's risky playing in this corner, but he needs to get back across. I think he's worried about the sight line. Yeah, very, very worried about it. But there is so much area around here. Is that an arrow been sent his way?
It might be.
Just locking him on the door.
This is kind of naughty. I mean, you've just got them pinned, effectively. Like, obviously, smoke wall up, try and play behind, stay tucked in, but you don't have an opportunity to aggress on it. Like, the timing on the face from the angle they've got with the high ground, you should have the shot every time.
Yeah.
Attention is somewhat split, though.
I want to know if that was Sook, because there's been a lot of talk about him actually carrying the explosive bow and arrow around a lot, just to lock players down in position. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. That was pretty terrifying there for Regnum Caillou, but they can play that spot. They can certainly play that position, and it might pay dividends in the future. We'll wait and see if that investment was worth their time. Bravo 7, though, probably wouldn't be getting away from this position on that southwest side. AX are in front of them. They'll have to bash through there. Currently, Power is struggling on this bridge. The amount of times I've seen Falak on this girder, on top of the bridge, is a lot.
It gives him so much vision as well. Ooh, okay. Nearly. Window of opportunity, obviously very slim. You've got to chicane on the push-up. Trying to keep the help from the back line. Takes a bit of time before he gets the first shot back over, but the first knock is the most important. Quick reposition, got to try and get himself out of dodge. Takes the damage from the drop and the bullet from the side, so into a knock on the bridge, off the angle. Teammates now with more pressure on them. Split there, obviously incredibly awkward for Power with the distribution of squads they've got around them. It's DRX they've got on the other side as well.
I'm just not sure what Power was thinking on this one, if I'm perfectly honest with them, where playing on this edge, it's so tough. Yeah, they're getting eliminations here and there, but slowly but surely they are going down. Again, they could have played in from where Team Secret's on, where the circle was, where it encompassed Very Peer. You know there's going to be teams playing over towards Primors. There's going to be teams heading over towards Yellows. This is a situation where there's going to be many, many teams looking to lock you out over towards Lighthouse coming across that bridge. It's just an unreasonable decision, in my opinion, where they could have played it slow on the eastern side of the map. The only other thing I can think of, and I mentioned it earlier, is just that they were hoping, gambling for a Sosnovka finish. They would have been the first there, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, the odds certainly not in their favour if that was the gambit they were going for this time around. He was unlucky as well with the timing. Nearly got the pop off on the hill to keep himself alive, but Fainan going down because of it. And then Al Haji, you know, you are a sitting duck, effectively. That's the real sort of top and bottom of it. He's just trapped in the coastline. Play Zone being the additional squad that will take him down from the back. So again, Power Gaming, I think that's free for free on first squads to fall, other than obviously actually easy. Yeah, he survived as a solo, got those 2 points in the first game, but it's been rough. You're losing at least 3 players in the opening sort of, what, 2 to 3 minutes of each game now, minimum.
It's rough. It's really rough, and there needs to be a big change towards the end of the day. Looking at 4 Thrives, though, they're doing really well. 2nd place at the moment. I was asked recently who my top 3 players were, and in that top 3 I mentioned Valak because he is one of the more exciting off-angle specialists, and you saw him there even on the bridge. That's another thing I love about the player, is that when he's in that solo position where he's playing off the back of his teammates trying to set up situations, he's so safe, so cautious with it. He was never going for the full-on spray. He was happy to let his teammates find those knocks, find those eliminations, and he just had to be the enabler, essentially. So he's a very, very cerebral player. And if you're watching PUBG Mobile, you never heard of him, I'd keep your eye on him during this entire tournament.
100%, man. You know, nerves of steel and really handy with the steel with how he was taking those fights. This has been Vision trying to get a bit more aggro as well with a dive over towards the hut side, isolate one player there as they get the info onto him. Quick pick up on the crate as well. Grab what he's got on him to restock themselves. Yeah, bro.
He looked lost inside that shack, like he had no business being in there, and the arena was just getting evicted. Oof. Yangdong.
I mean, they're getting secreted on right now. There's the dive over the back. Secret again, it feels like they do better when fights are on their terms. When it's suddenly thrown towards them, that's when a bit of a panic kicks in. It was a little bit awkward. They are being at least able to find some recovery from it. The zone's awful for them though, right? Consistently thrusted further forward. They're having to just sprint through this, try and take it headstrong. They do win out on the fight, but with a double knock, it's going to still take some time to recover from it. Meanwhile, Weibo again. They always show up when you least expect it, and nades are raining.
Why are they on the eastern side of the map right now? There's an insane rotate from them, which I didn't even catch. They were playing down towards that western side. Suddenly they managed to get themselves all the way over to here. Just wrapped around, and Fireflux do find them. I think they were looking for a holdout as well over towards Fireflux, but losing Suk is not ideal. Matt Cap's been an awesome addition over towards Fireflux as well. Been finding a lot of success for the team. Where Ketch is no longer as potent as he maybe was in the past, Matt Cap has been pretty phenomenal at basically bringing him back up to level. Like, both of them combined make a pretty fearsome duo.
There's been some fierce picks as well that we're seeing from the sideline there from Hora, still being able to keep themselves in a good spot in terms of the eliminations they're finding, where it's not an overcommit. So nice shots, again delivering. Fireflux, it's interesting how much we've actually seen them really being in focal points of fights that have a lot of reverberations for the outcome of the game, but it never feels like it really gives them the oomph they need. They're always on the, the wrong side of the coin.
Yeah, that's a 100. Bruised by the nade.
That wasn't a coin, that was a grenade.
Yeah, it was. That was dirty. Heading through M79, trying to lay down some smoke in the meantime. It's not going to be. Solus does hit the deck though. So does Scarface, and this is looking more and more rough. So very good shots coming through from Regnum Kaya, by the way, from that position they were talking about before. They're currently holding over towards that north side.
Shame for Secret as well. If Team Secret were looking to build and compound off the points they were able to accumulate into Game 2, it's not really going to work out as well for them here. You go down relatively early, 3rd squad to exit stage left. It's did a massive cool-off as well over on the side of Yangon Galacticus, considering how impactful they were with that opening game. But let's dial in here with Alpha 7. Mafioso, clean connection over the top side. Wow. AX giving as good as they get. And fair play to them. It's actually been impressive how good they've looked in terms of the amount of pressure that must be on this squad. You've got to deliver. Full commit on this. Push up with the DBS. Oh, it's clean for the first, but the fight back with the moves. Ravo starting to really bring the heat towards them. You've got nades running in from the side as well. Alpha 7 with a lot of targets on them.
Ravo canonically touted as the best shotgun player in the entire world. Hard to deal with him when he's flying through the air, gliding on the back of those wings, the DBS. Only taking shots over towards you, but it's 4 Thrives, backstab, and Alpha 7 was stuck between a rock and a hard place there. Noki once again playing anchor down towards that south side. I think honestly 4 Thrives have a very, very good position here in the circle. And Balak with 4 elims so far during this game. I do think they have a good chance here, and now taking away first place spot. Neptura unfortunately mistaken on that call, but this is a big push coming through from Horror. And where is Silas?
Where is he indeed? Horror as well, just getting away with absolute liberties at the minute. They're going for some big commits. They're actually completely flipping it on its head of saying, oh, you're kind of playing this passive game where then you suddenly throw the heat up. The tempo control's really good for them. They're keeping the other squads guessing. It's been great fights. They're starting to find themselves opportunities for eliminations. And again, like you were saying, as much as this is great for 4 Thrives, you've already been able to build up some points. Rest of the squads that in the overall rankings for the day, they're all gone. Anyone else that actually accumulated a nice amount have already been taken out. You can see it's the bottom end that is still alive with the overall points here. This could really have some chance to leapfrog you up. So this is a big game for a lot of the squads down towards the bottom side right now.
Absolutely. For AX particularly, they want to jump further up the rankings here. Horror as well. Want to show a lot of these teams what they've got to offer, but 4 Thrives could bump themselves massively up in this game, getting a lead of something like 20 points on the 3rd match of the day with Alpha 7 and Yangon Galacticos being down early, and Vision's only just breaking into the 20 points now.
Laura's still going. I mean, that's Vision being completely removed, blinded by the power of Horror Esports again here. No Fear living up to his name as the rest of the squad's playing with that. Sleepy and Sky back-to-back. 8 eliminations combined between the 2 of them. Some impressive maneuvers. And we've been obviously sort of touting, 4 Thrives, they're in a good spot. If AX were able to find an opportunity to get the drop on them here, sort of pick them to pieces from the sidelines with the scout setup they've got, it could be a bit of a change of pace. They've not looked too bad over the course of the day so far, but taking down a team like that would be huge for them. There's been a nice reset for 4 Thrives to get back up to all 4 players. That's unfortunate. You're trapped on the edge, nothing you can do. That's the last man going down, so we do wave goodbye to Fire Flux.
They've been stuck out on that eastern side for such a ridiculous amount of time. It was not easy for them, but Weibo, despite showing off some pretty cool moves around the map and having some decent rotates into position, they've just not had the staying power in these matches at all. Not been able to dig those boots in to the ground. Felt like will be taken down by Sky, which is, to be honest with you, the speed at which he went down, that was an unbelievable spray coming through from Sky.
Yeah, Sky's looking crisp today, dude. Like, some of the shots he's being able to find are really impressive, but it's the setup from them as well. The way they're actually sort of jiggling and playing off each other's contact, comms look really clean.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Sky has got a massive amount of pressure on him. And we had a nice interview with him at the start of the day where he was saying that I don't really see it as pressure. I just see that fans being just loving us as a team, and I'm going to try and do them as proud as I can. For Sky, he's always been a phenomenal member of multiple different teams. Now, I think he's found a very nice spot here on Horror. Yeah, he is the star figure on that team, but by no means is he not backed up by some of the other players on that squad. I mean, No Fear's been around for a huge amount of time, and Sleepy and Jiggle here really feel like they have melded into the team very, very well. So yeah, Horror is definitely a team to keep your eyes on.
I think maybe that's working for him as well, where it's not, the whole squad sort of playing against each other whilst being a team.
Yeah.
It's being set up where there is sort of, no need for the ego. Everyone's happy to just set each other up, and it's working well, dude. Like, they're passing that baton brilliantly.
It's funny as well because Sky is played on like quite a lot of highbrow squads, let's say, where he has not always been the player that everyone looks towards and is like, that's the top player on that squad. So it must be quite nice to be on a team now where he is that star player, but he's still quite a humble dude. So, getting set up, and he's always there looking to capitalize, help his team find that success, and this is an unbelievable position. I talked about earlier where Regnum Karya tried to pick it up early into the game, and it would have had a massive success for them should they've been able to hold it versus Horror, but they just came in very, very fast over towards that position. It was super difficult. They're on the outside of the circle now, though, with Nongshim, Red Force. I think that's Binny and Tizzy currently playing in a shack of their own, and likely Horror's going to struggle unless they can start finding picks on the outside of the circle over towards AX or Influence Rage.
Yeah, it's been good shots, but it's the fact that they're not really being fully able to convert off the back of it, with the cycling of those knocks being really just stalemated. Henry here You get the POV from the man spamming over towards the side. Good split as well from the backside. Sleepy still gets the tag back in. That's an instantaneous shot onto Henry. And they really do just take him out instantly. Good read of the lay of the land as well. So Arian's trapped behind the vehicle. Bullets coming in from the side. 4-5 still trying to keep themselves involved in these encounters and snatch points where they can.
Zarek tried to edge his way down towards 4-5, but was immediately shut down there. Henry, I think, was on 12 bullets left in the next magazine, so wasn't a lot at all. That's 3 loot crates, by the way, that I can see on the map there. And those could comfortably create some cover, but the speed at which Horror's going to have to set up this flying V is going to have to be very, very quick. Horror sends out, though, and no one's currently taking shots. Binny and Tizzy are currently encapsulated in smoke. One goes down, but it will be Aryan to go down next. And Horror efficiently gets themselves over there, but can they get their player back up again?
4-5's have been doing what they've been doing for so long here as well. The minute there's an opportunity set up by someone else, that's when they capitalize from it. So AX open up the fight. You see the weakness there on Horror. They come in for the sideline sweep, get some damage in. Nonshin Red Force as well, finding an opportunity to get one shot in from the back, and that's all they really needed. It's fragmented the squad. They go down from having 4 members looking really clean to just 2 isolated split on them.
I think it's good, though. Honestly, if I'm fully analyzing this, Horror makes a sacrifice and it pays off for them. Yes, they lose 2 players, but given that moment, it gave time for both No Fear and Sky to get further into the circle. Such an important moment for them where it actually could have gone really, really wrong. And that's what you want from teammates. Teammates who are ready to make the ultimate sacrifice for you in-game to allow you to get a little bit further, a little bit more points on board. Beautiful stuff.
That's what I mean, the lack of ego. You see it there. Everyone's playing for the big picture. They're not worried about the stats. They're worried about the placements. They're worried about how it results overall for their tournament run. That's a brilliant way to think about it. You've got the late backstab potentially from Influence Rage. I mean, that's Law, the solo member with Red Force trapped, living on borrowed time inside the hut. Near miss from the nades as well, dashing them towards them. 4-5s have been able to play on the back foot for quite some time, wait for everyone else to come towards them. Now they do have to advance somewhat. Horror, of course, with those 2 players, like we said, still could have influence. The quick trades are made. One shot back over 4-5s taking issues. Nonshin go down. Falak with the quick shot back over. That's No Fear out of action. And Law still just belly crawling further forward. I mean, look at the split here. A chance for at least a sneak into that 2nd place.
He had the 1 nade and the 1 Molotov, so could have actually efficiently cleared out 4-5s, but 12 eliminations, now looking for the 10-point. Bobs up just as he gets res there, and that could have been absolutely treacherous for them. And now nade's getting sent over the top, and it's unbelievably placed. Coming through from 4-5, taking them to a 24-point game.
Massive scenes. Brilliant teamwork, never over-egging it as well. So comfortable playing their own game and always following up. If someone else went in for a fight, they were ready to clean up, ready to engage. Good rotates on it, and they're going to be happy with that one, but that is a massive gainer.
It's huge. You were talking about it as well, where you were saying that a lot of our top teams were just out early, and it was really only 4-5 still going there. I think off the back of that game, they're up to 43 points, if I'm not mistaken, which is a really big result. And again, a lot of the top teams went out fairly early. I think they're right now looking at around about a 20-point lead at least over a fair few of our squads there. But Horror was another story during that match, looking really, really good. Egoless team. And again, it was not only that, but just really good reads as well. You saw Binny and Tizzy, they both smoked out their compound to stop players from peeking or sending shots in. In that moment, the boys from Horror, they send across because they sense that opportunity. We're going to take this opportunity for a quick break. We'll be back real soon.
Okay, you are the Korean team. You have the Korean champions here, normally of D plus Kia.
It means that over the next 9 matches, they're looking, over the next 9 matches, they are going to need to look to put 40 more points on to feel nice and safe.
Yeah.
That is a pretty low average.
I would say so. We see some big games, but we were talking about it. Consistency is key, not only here, but also in life. Let me not get too deep already as my first global event here, but I will say 6 points or so you're saying I think is where you want to be. But granted, that's, of course, not counting the first 3 games. We've got some teams towards the bottom. Now, we'll talk about them over time. Power's been struggling, right? Nongshim Red Force have also been eliminated quite early throughout multiple games, and they're not the only ones, but I do want to say the race for top 8 to make it into finals is still very, very close. We've got to keep our eye on from Team Secret and above, and of course the home favorite Team Falcons in 9th looking to make their way up.
Yeah, absolutely. It is still very much all to play for at this stage. Because of 4Thrives taking so many points from the lobby, that increases the volatility of the rest of the tables. It means that they're going to be closer to one another. It means that position jumps are going to be easier, or rather more difficult to fend off for the teams who have already got those top 8 spots. And it's going to be really exciting to see how that unfolds. I think that the most interesting team I saw on that table there towards the bottom was Regnum Kaya. This is disappointing for the reigning PMGO champs coming into this one. They need to step up. They need to step up fairly quickly. I have no doubt in my mind that they can do it. The question is, will they bring it to bear today?
That's the question. We got a nice zone. Liking it, potentially setting up for a bridge zone. I love bridge zones. More importantly, I love military, but most likely going over to the mainland. But I do want to focus in as we've got 2 teams, maybe about to skirmish out over on military, of course. Talk about Fireflux, and you got Team Secrets, most likely going to be running into each other. They could have a truce. Maybe they say, hey, you go over to the right side bridge, we'll take over to left, and we'll just go our own way. But if I'm Team Secret, I've been on fire today. I'm not going to be intimidated by anybody. And you want to talk about being on fire? Fireflux is quite literally there in the top 3 running. So I'm looking at them to potentially be one of the front runners in the engagement. But who knows? We'll see how it ends up unfolding. What else do we see?
At the moment, it looks like Team Secret might just be heading out to the east, disengage. West and east bridges both available still. At the moment, it doesn't seem like too much more is unfolding. I feel like George Pole is potentially a little bit of a hotspot for contest on this northwest side. 2 teams in South George, Alpha 7 up in North George. That crossing down south that, because of this first circle, is going to have to happen for Alpha 7 could be under duress, could be a little bit of conflict in their future.
Yeah, but you got to think about who they're going against, right? It's E-Arena, who, well, let's face it, they've been struggling, only sitting at 8 points, currently in 13th place, and Alpha 7 being the top dogs they are. Winning that game, by the way, game 2 with 2 players was phenomenal. I could not believe my eyes. You actually called it early. I wasn't a believer until the very end, but able to get, 4 to 5 revives overall. It was Revo and Korea who was able to get that win. So if I'm E-Arena and, of course, having to rotate down, I've got to go against Galacticos. That's not going to be an easy fight for either of those rosters. So for Alpha 7, I'm still favoring them, but you're right. I think we will have a skirmish soon.
They could always break out further to the east, right? There is always that option to go for a wide swing, but depending on the pace that they can loot, the pace that they can get out of North George, they may be able to avoid that altogether. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Team Secret, they did move all the way over to Novo. This is on the military island right now on your screens. They did move out east, so no conflict here for the time being. The question I have is, where are Fireflux going to rotate? I expect Team Secret to be going over the east bridge. I'm wondering if Fireflux are going to try and join them, because you're going to be aware that 4Thrives are going to be on the other side of that bridge. And right now, I don't feel like you want to head towards this team.
I don't think so. 4Thrives, they're obviously the top dogs for a reason. Will they be the top dogs by the end of this tournament? Who knows? But right now, they are undisputably the best with more than double the points, even over second, which is Hora. But I would think so, though. You know, for Fireflux, I would go to the right side bridge alongside that at Team Secret. But then you have Power over there, too. And Power, I don't know. There's no reason for them to go too deep into the zone as of yet. Bridge camp potential, you think?
Could be. I mean, it does potentially waste a little bit of time. It looks like 4Thrives are going to disengage from that bridge position over towards a more central location, up towards that hill ridge that sits further north. But there's always time to come back as well. We'll have to see if that yo-yo comes through. And actually, Yangon Galacticos on the move. Okay, so that opens the door for Alpha 7, which was potential for them to find that path on in. Getting very, very central, nice and quickly. Into 5 minutes of the game, and already finding a central spot. Rekukaya looking to do the same.
Yeah, taking a little bit of damage, but they're going to be just fine for the time being. This is a team that was much hyped up coming into PMWC, a team that needs to start gathering points. As we said, we're on our halfway point. Only 9 more games remain. Yeah, you've got 3 days of group stage, but the teams only played 2 of those days, a total of 12 games. 3 are already gone. With the point race being as close as it currently is, I know they're in 12th place, I should say, but they can easily jump right up with how close it is all the way up to top 8. And, well, DRX on your screen, a team that ended up starting off the day hot with the winner chicken dinner. They're currently in 6th place. It's going to be nice and quiet for the time being.
Yeah, just bunkering down right now. Early circles, keeping it chill, keeping the nerves in check. Something that I would love to see is like heart rate monitors coming.
Yes, we need that.
That would be really sick. Although to be fair, 64 heart rate monitors, that sounds like a nightmare.
Absolutely.
To be honest. But either way, I mean, it'd be so interesting to see how these players are affected by it. Obviously, early game, you're expecting some low tempos, but you can imagine it goes through the roof in those final moments.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're Revo and Carrillo.
Sure.
In the final moments, you're just super chilling.
You know, Alpha 7 is one of those teams that are just always so relaxed, it seems, and you got to appreciate that. I think that owes to their success. Falcons getting active, which good on them, the home team. I know the crowd's been going crazy for Team Falcons, as you would expect. A lot of the crowd set up actually right behind the Falcons roster, so they're hearing the loud roars every single time they pop off. For Team Falcons, they were center zone. Of course, they've got a lot of teams around them, but I do believe where they're currently at is, again, they're going to be chilling. Not a lot of teams want to fight at the moment. They'll do it if they have to, but for now, it's all about positioning into stage 2.
Absolutely. For the Falcons, they came into this tournament obviously as the winner of their region, coming in from Europe and qualifying through there. They won via a smash ruling. So if you want to take a look at that, make sure you go and check it out. But not yet, because we've still got more game to play. Unfortunately, it felt like some of the time, especially during the earlier stages of that tournament, they weren't quite as cohesive as they need to be to take on the global levels. They moved into the finals, and it felt like they had pieced it together, right? At the moment, they've got Redox, Koa, Narvalo, Ralph playing on the roster. It felt like sometimes there was a little bit of disarray in and amongst the roster, but right towards the end, they did show up. I was worried coming into this tournament that those early stages would come back and that performance would recur. For now, it seems like they're holding their nerve. There have been 1 or 2 missteps today in some pretty crucial moments, but I think for now, I'm pretty happy with where they're sat, up in 9th place, 18 points. They've got this first point on board as well.
Yeah, it's day 1, right? Since only 3 games in. We talk about teams struggling, but you know, right now it's time to get your feet underneath you, get used to the LAN environment. There are several players out there, this is their first LAN, and it hits differently, right? When you're playing at home, you're nice and comfortable, there's no pressure virtually, you're feeling okay. When you come to the LAN experience, you got crowds yelling at you, maybe booing you, maybe cheering you. You got a mix of emotions. For Team Falcons, I think they're doing just fine, and you talked about their progression. Well, we need to see progression from so many different rosters, and honestly, for me, Alpha 7, I wasn't happy with their America's performance, I really wasn't, but I think that narrative's out the window. I'm feeling good. We shift now to mainland, and now we get to see Forthright. They're going to gatekeep, of course, one of the rosters going across.
Fireflux are already trying to make their way through, but this eastern side is really heating up around Potato Hill. You've got Aura trying to make their way on through. Power leading the charge from that side of the map. Influence Rage going for a wide sweep out towards the north. The question is, where are they going to cut in? Are they going to go all the way out? Maybe challenge Alpha 7. There's potential there, depending on how far they go. They know they'll be on a home ground fight, right? Influence Rage versus Alpha 7. These two rosters will be familiar with one another. Yeah. They could have a little bit of an edge in this fight potentially, or the same could be true on the other side.
Influence Rage on your screen. Been happy with this roster through America's second place. They played so very, very well. In fact, even outdoing that of Alpha 7 during the PMSL Americas season. Well done for them. They've not done too bad. I know they're in 10th place, but again, that point gap, that point spread is just so incredibly close. But we're talking 4 points from going from 10th up to top 5, right? So for Influence Rage, happy they're going to be on the dead side of the zone in the north. I'm very curious how that's going to end up paying off for them. I want to see them make a deep run. I feel like Influence Rage is a roster. They've been around. We've talked about them on the global stages before, but this is the year I think they're truly going to show what they're made of.
I hope. Well, I would hope so, but it seems like they have always been the little brother of the region, right? They are there. They're powerful in their own right, but they just haven't been able to take that next step. Maybe they'll find that development here, but I feel like with Big Brother's Alpha 7 in the lobby, it's going to be hard to try and take that fight.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great point, right? When it comes to Americas, it was a region that we paid attention to mainly for Brazil, North America. I know we've got our struggles. We're going to try and make it back up eventually. We're getting better, I promise you. But when you talk about the Big Brother of Alpha 7, I saw a massive improvement across the board from all the rosters because they know they've got Alpha 7 to battle against. Trust me, they wanted to win PMSL Spring Season 2025. And unfortunately, of course, some of them didn't. But for others, they did dethrone Alpha 7. Alpha 7 barely made it to this stage. Let's put that into perspective. They're doing great now. But I really do think Alpha 7's performance, them winning last year at EWC, truly made the other rosters say, I've got to step it up. You talk about little brother, they're looking to be the big brother now.
Absolutely. Try and have a little bit of regnal combat going on through. Take that throne away from Alpha 7. We'll be making sure to keep up to date to find who will be able to take that top spot. But is it even going to matter, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about that global interaction. Sure, you can increase the quality of those lobbies, but then how does that playstyle move into the current stage of gameplay? And with the experience that Alpha 7 has at this level,
right.
I think that is going to be a massive, massive hurdle to overcome for the teams looking to catch up. In a regional stage, sure, it's intense, sure, it's a lot, but when you put the international stage together, it changes the game entirely. It changes how the lobby plays, how it feels, everything about it, the lights on the stage. It can be a real task to overcome. Hard southwest shift on this circle, all the way out towards a pretty similar location where we saw this last match finished as well, out to the southwest side of Pachinki on those hills. You've got DRX slap bang in the middle. They've been hiding there for a long time in Reflection.
They have, and they like to play it slow, but hey, make no mistake about it, they can get active if need be. You push into them, you've got a heck of a fight on your hands. Half of the lobby, quite literally half of the lobby, have to now rotate into the next stage, and you got a couple of teams who are set up. And talking about the couple, well, you've got them right here, right in front of you. Alpha 7, we talked about this fight. When was it going to go down? E-Arena landing up top alongside that of Alpha 7. Now they finally come, and they bump head-to-head.
Mormon with the first blood drawn there. Revo goes down, an immediate, looking for the refrag through the window, not going to find it. Sliver of HP still there. And now with a nade cooking, it's Alpha 7 who are biting the dust more so than ever. Joker went down earlier, but now it's 3 players alive, and Alpha 7 can't find the fight. Ernie goes up the stairs, and immediately with the pump action around the corner, Alpha 7 coming apart of the seams.
Alpha 7, they're falling apart. Carrillo, can he be the hero? Can he be the one to save the day? They're already in shambles. He would be the only one leaving this engagement. Influence Rage, mind you, they might come in for the third party. This fight needs to be finished up, but Carrillo throws a Molotov, and it's going to at least drop one from the arena. Carrillo going for it off angle, taking damage, but he has no choice but to push forward, and he's making the most of it. Alpha 7 refusing to lose.
Not yet. They will not go quietly. An Influence Rage on the south side looking to guard this one out. Carrillo, though, could slip through the cracks as a solo. It's a lot easier to go unnoticed, but unfortunately, the firefight around him has drawn the attention of their regional teammates, and they will have to move through it. Carrillo, I don't expect them to be getting too much further, but he could leave north side, try and get in amongst it.
Well, they did it as a duo. Can Carrillo do it as a solo? That would be even crazier. Don't count him out, but I agree with you. Now you're going for placement points. You're in survival mode, and luckily for Carrillo, Influence Rage has backed away. It doesn't look like they're going to crash in on him, so should be just fine. And, well, he'll be a solo, wreaking havoc on the remaining rosters. Falcons moving in as Course Vision now wants to take on the Falcons. Let's see how it unfolds.
A double roll-up again as teams start to move. This is what hard shifts bring. Action left and right. Redox on the inside goes down first. The pump action from Never Alone and the flush as well. So Falcons fighting with 3. Navallo wins the trade. The pump action winning the day, and a second as well. Koa's there for the backup. There's a nade. It doesn't sit, and Navallo can now look for this healing on the northeast side. Ora are nearby, and it looks like they're going to roll in for the fight.
There it goes. Hey, Ora wants this. They need it. Points so valuable to catch up. They're already in top 3, but they want a little bit more. Vision taking damage on the stairway, but don't worry, because you got Narvalo from the Falcons who's been holding it down, and you You mentioned Horror, well, here they are. Sleepy, No Fear, starting to take the house opposite of Team Falcons. We've now lost a roster, and all attention on Falcons versus Horror now.
Massive pickup on the back line of Horror as well, meaning they're 2 players on the inside. Losing that off angle is huge. It draws the attention out that way, and a knock on the forefront as well. Falcons are splitting the difference here on the fight beautifully, as they will look for more.
Arvalo, I mean, he has just been doing quite literally everything. All eyes on him. The tip of the spear for this roster to take down Sleepy and No Fear. Ralph also moving in as well. You gotta think they've got a power position. That stairway is always hard to push up, though. It's gonna be a choke point, and you know dang well Horror's gonna be looking straight down it.
Immediately finding these flushes as well. They beautifully split the attention. An off angle, a third party coming through from Power as they sweep through the back line, and it is going to be turning tail and running the story for Horror now in the rest of this match. 2 players alive. Sleepy's not long for this one.
Yeah.
The point gets stolen though, and it goes over to Power.
So now it's Jiggle Sky. They're going to go in and dip. They're going to get within zone. They're going to play the survival game like Alpha 7's Carrillo, but I'd rather have 2 than 1. Either way, that's how it ended up unfolding. Power Esports, who's had such a struggle throughout our tournaments, not one of the first teams out, mind you, so maybe good news for them. We talk about at the halfway point, 9 more games remaining. I'm hoping Power is able to turn things around in this airing game.
We didn't really talk about it too much with all the fighting going on, but the circle shift was another hard southwest side shift, which means that Falcons had to move fast and early. Unfortunately, they weren't in the best of shapes to do it, as Horror do finally bite the dust. It means that Falcons are going to have to crash in a suboptimal situation to the north side. Same story going to be true for Power, as they have now wasted a little bit of time, I think it's safe to say, on this northeast side.
So Falik, he's going to be the scout, kind of breaking away from 4 Thrives, who are going to be just up to the northeast of where he's currently at, and maybe calling out Solus, who I believe is down, if I'm not mistaken. We do have a bit of a crash, though. Falcons continuing to get into engagements, and this time it doesn't work out.
Regnum Kaya, the ones to receive that in the ditch, in the divot. It's going to go down for the Falcons, and I don't think that their lone player is going to get to, hang on a minute, take it back. Koa with a drive-by onto Romeo, hits him with a runaround, and we'll be able to survive a moment or 2 longer. But really no safe ground in this central area. These hillsides are littered with Caltrops.
Yeah, for Galacticos, we obviously tuned in with them just a little bit, but they got teams all around them, including Power, but Power is not having a good time. Galacticos are taking them down left and right. Falcons also eliminated some heavy dogs already out.
Yeah, that was the final player, Koa, going down. He was not able to find any respite in the middle. And now, with 4 teams or so looking to try and hold it out, seems like Regnum Kaya want to extend their influence. A nade over towards Easy connects, and that is going to be a beautiful opener. 2 players now standing for Power, as there's teams behind them also looking to put pressure on. Rolling on out, Regnum Kaya not going to let Easy go down. And the 2-2 roll around will be good for it. However, there is a sideline that they need to be worried about. Get the cover in. Wild low as well. The vehicle's going up in smoke, and Loxy's down all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's down, and I believe that was a third party from DRX way off in the distance, getting some shots out. And, well, we got Team Secret also trying to survive. I mean, you got so many teams in shambles, and when you got to go to these shacks, I call them the Death Shack, you're in a lot of trouble. But the teams have spread out quite a bit. I'm actually surprised we've lost so many rosters and players at this stage of the game.
This open field situation, this open hillside that sits to the north of it, these 2 hard southwest shifts followed by a northeast shift, may be giving a little bit of pause for a breather, but still, those 2 hard shifts that we saw in a row have really changed the tune here in the lobby. It's forced teams to take fights where they wouldn't have wanted to otherwise, and now at 18.5 minutes in, we're down to 10 teams, and a lot of those teams not looking healthy.
Take a peek at Fire Flux racing against Papa Blue. Influence Rage just above them. Talk about Fire Flux landing over on Military. Would they have a bit of a skirmish from 4 Thrives on the Western Bridge? That doesn't end up happening, so they're still alive. Now down to, of course, just a handful of teams. Circle closing in. Another shift about to begin. Excuse me, as Fire Flux starts to get active a little bit. Luckily, they got on the vehicles. The question is, can Influence Rage, do they get aggressive? Obviously, they have to move. Do they set position up to the right-hand side to cut off Fire Flux's rotation?
It's going to be tricky here for both of these teams on the southwest side, and Fireflux are first to move. For the moment, Influence Rage still holding in their compound near Quarry. And they're going to have to try and go in a little bit later. So Fireflux, where are they going to opt to crash in? They've already sent 2 players towards this Regnum Kaya stronghold. I don't know how that's going to go for them. We know that there's third-party angles on there. They're already getting lit up. Scarface with a slow roll around the side, but the vehicle takes him down. It's Regnum Kaya and Nongshim Red Force on the crossfire. Now the 2 remaining players of Fireflux going to try and send Long over to the north side. A straight cut through the circle on the western flank. And in the meantime, in the wake of that rotation, Influence Rage push in from the west.
Yeah, they're coming in, and they're going to be coming in hard. It's going to be a big push from them. Regnum Kaya needs to watch out, of course, as Influence Rage, a dominant team. Fireflux, I cannot believe that they're still alive in this moment. It's so unfortunate they lost 2 of their players, so now they've got to go at it. And well, Influence Rage actually looked to be crashing in on Korea, who's been a solo for the longest time.
He has been alive, and he's going to keep trying as
gone,
4 Thrives go down as well. In the meantime, Korea with his full send, straight towards Fireflux. 2 players alive,
what?
But he goes too slow. No hop out to be seen, and Ketch finds a duck sitting in his sightlines.
That's it. And Fireflux, luckily for them, they will be dead center of the current zone. That's great, but also could potentially make you a target. You've got Galacticus, who's going to be just onto your left. Got DRX as well. Influence Rage, of course, are going to be moving in. We'll be keeping our eye out for Fireflux, and of course, at the moment. And also Team Power, man, I gotta say, for Team Power's perspective, just still struggling. I thought for a good moment they were going to have a great game based on the positioning on the north, but just got too rough for them.
They weren't quite able to convert here. Fireflux do finally go down. The last 2 of Regnum Kaya sidle on in, but Silas needs a little hand here from Wild, as they only have 2 players to go. Yangon Galacticos on the northwest edge also can put pressure onto this location, but they're being a little bit slow with it. They're more concerned about Influence Rage on the west side, who have been, again, very slow, very tepid in their rotational pace here on the west edge.
As things start to slow down just a little bit, shots are ringing out, but nobody really at risk of going down except for Lil Boy. I'd say Galacticos trying to take him down. They will do so. The rest of the Influence Rage roster, I guess, a little bit separated. Lil Boy maybe being a scout, can't get away. And that's so unfortunate because they had such a strong position on this side of the map, and now they've got to recover and make a decision. Do we go for revenge, or do we just continue to play the dead zone, get in there, and maybe watch our backs? Because, of course, you know, Red Force, they're going to be moving in just behind them potentially, but I think that's an oversight, leaving Lil Boy out by his own. But they're going in, they're crashing.
They may have expected Yangon Galacticos to go further forwards, in which case the Lil Boy would have been in prime location to take those backstab shots when Influence Rage need to move up north. They overinvest potentially on that angle, and Yangon Galacticos have excellent wherewithal to be able to read that and take down that player at the back. Very, very cautious, but it works out well for them. And now they can be the ones to put the pressure on Influence Rage as they take a fight on 2 fronts. You could see on the minimap this vice grip that now sits around this Influence Rage position.
So they got to make a decision. Push forward, push back. Staying where you're currently at could be a death trap. And they look like they were going to push in onto Nongshim Red Force, but they don't make the full commitments. And in the meantime, yeah, you see them still taking their time. The more time you take, the more of an opportunity for a third party. The nade, luckily, just a bit short. Law's going to be okay. And with them hopping in cars, are they disengaging?
Well, they saw Silas rolling up, and I was watching Silas just there, and he randomly decided to send towards Yangon Galacticos. He did get a lot of info on their location, but he took a lot of damage in the process. He's slow rolling behind the vehicle, looking for a time to pop that first aid, but he didn't put the handbrake on here, and it's just going to keep rolling away from him.
Oh, the nade. So close, Silas. Down, unfortunately. Tough break for him. We focus now on DRX. Reginald just up ahead. DRX has had such a great day. This fight should be no different, you would have to assume anyways. For Reginald, Kara, they gotta obviously make a bit of an impact here. For Influence Rage, by the way, standing strong, taking down the team opposite of them, of course, Nongshim Red Force. That's gonna be a great opportunity now to gain a couple more points to move up. Granted, only 2 players, but still, with that gap being the top 8, so close to them already breaking into top 8, I think this game could be very valuable.
Absolutely, they do have 2 players alive, losing Diego in that fight. They will be playing on from that southwest side. Yangon Galacticos disengaged because of this crazy play from Silas, so a little bit of a breath of life potentially into this Influence Rage position. Ooh, Weibo though, find the pick off onto Lorazin, and on the back lines, that's going to leave Influence Rage on just 1 player remaining now, and that is going to make things real tough for them. DRX again, been fairly quiet throughout this. They're up to 3 elims, but they have all 4 players alive. They're playing on this long side of the hill. They're going to start to be able to move up. It's Yangon Galacticos, DRX, these 2 opposing positions, and Weibo on the southeast side as well. Already on 6 elims, by the way. Having a brilliant game so far, who have a more central position here. The rest is dribs and drabs, ragtag bunch of solos.
Solos galore. That was from the early violence that we witnessed pretty early. I think, stage 1, stage 2, quite honestly. Law, though, I'm very interested in what he's going to be able to do, only because as a solo, he can truly devastate essentially the positioning of not only the last player from Team Secret, but also Weibo, depending if he's able to penetrate that off angle. So he could be a thorn in their side, depending, but of course, all eyes on DRX and Weibo. And Weibo needs a good game here. This would be tremendous for them. They've been towards the bottom. They were much hyped up. In fact, I believe even in the power rankings, Weibo breaking into the top 3 for our analysts. So for them, this game could be exactly what the doctor ordered in order to rise up the ranks.
You would hope so. For a while now, the teams from the PL have been a little bit out of the spotlight, looking for a little bit of a resurgence here. We've got Undertalk to look forward to, but for now, it is just Weibo flying that PEL flag. Yangon Galacticos now moving on in towards Wild, but he spots him and immediately step up, spray down. You can't give him that broadside. Romeo feels the brunt of it, and Wild looks for another as well. 2 players rolling up. The spray down potential, but Wild will fall, and that will be Regnum Kaya out.
It's unfortunate. That fight was setting up for quite some time for Yangon Galacticos. Good on them. They stay up, they stay alive. Still 3 strong, mind you. So a chance to take this game is in, but now DRX also getting active. Weibo onto Yangon Galacticos up ahead. If I'm DRX, I'm now crashing in onto Galacticos, taking them down, because really once they do that, they control the entirety of the northern portion of the next stage.
The difficulty is what sort of angles do you expose to the south side here. There's this big saddle that Yangon Galacticos sit in. You can see DRX a little bit hesitant to go for the full send here. They're moving out to the west side as DRX do manage to keep that fight penned on in. Yangon Galacticos fall. They don't need to full flush. They have control of the north side entirely here. And now they can move back out to this eastern side and start to put pressure down south.
All right, so Team Secret, 1 alive. Meanwhile, you got a good old-fashioned 4v4. Weibo versus DRX. The overhead view showing you what's at stake. You got a little bit of elevation. DRX is going to be on the high ground. Meanwhile, the snakes in the grass of Weibo slowly inching their way up. The question is, once they apex...
Got 99 things to do and SEO too? Use SEMrush's SEO toolkit with
Team Secret losing their final player. Well, hang on a minute. Take it back. Sorry, hang on a minute. Oh no, a little bit of miscomms on the spray down. Finally, orders there. The suit can't quite connect. But now it is a full 4 versus 4. DRX, who have moved back out to this north side, have it fully under control. There's still an off angle played for her on that southeast side of Weibo Gaming. You can see that movement now coming up the hill towards that shack. And DRX looking to extend their influence here for South Korea.
Porter. You can't. I was going to say if you can get an off angle extend to the left, but it's a bit too tricky. A lot of utility was used from DRX a little bit earlier to take down Galacticos. I'm sure that they wish they at least saved a little bit of it so they can have this utility to apex that hill onto Weibo just up ahead. But at least the good news from DRX at the moment, nobody from Weibo really has like a tremendous off angle. Maybe suck over onto the left-hand side, but aside from that, like DRX with their wolf pack, it's going to be tough because Weibo's going to get up, they're going to shoot 1. DRX is going to be able to focus fire everything onto 33Z, Order, or Zuck just onto the left-hand side. So honestly, in this position, I think I have to favor DRX.
It's all going to be up to the smoke play, right?
Sure.
You can really change the tide of a fight like this, especially on such a weirdly rolling terrain position. If you can create a smoke separation, you have a huge advantage, and you're talking about these off angles. Those can be assuaged with good smoke play, right? So it depends how you're able to target it. It also depends how much utility you've got left in these final moments. You can see that for Weibo Gaming, they've been through the ringer. They've got 9 elims already, but certainly on 33Z, there's no smokes, only 1 nade here.
He's the tip of the spear too. With his forward position, he's most likely going to be the one to attack first. And you need the rest of the rosters out there to help him out from Weibo. Order's going to throw out a smoke. We're now repositioning. He's going to take the lower end for 33Z. He's got a little nade going past him, but he's going to be just fine. Weibo now also in a buggy. They're getting active. I don't know. DRC better be ready for it. Excuse me, DRX. better be ready for this engagement. Weibo, they're starting to get sneaky.
Playing on in the smoke, he drops that, sits in the backseat of the buggy, can get that little higher ground angle to look for the peaks, but DRX should know this is what's happening, and immediately these nades respond! DRX read it beautifully. They're like, what's that smoke doing there? What's that buggy doing there? Well, I think we know what we got to do. 3 pins pulled and 1 player falls. 33Z now looking to try and get an answer here. This res is going to be so difficult, Reflections.
I don't think they're going to get it. There's no way. Do you fully commit for that? Because you have to assume DRX is going to capitalize off of it. They're taking it slow, but once those smoke dissipate, they're going to get active, and DRX takes down yet another one. Another one will fall, and this should be the ending that DRX is looking for.
This is beautifully played by DRX, immediately capitalizing on that knock into the smoke. These smokes bloom on the top of the hill. They create sightline channels that they can play through. There's a res coming through for Weibo, and they do manage to get 3 players back up in an action, but Scissors forward now. 33Z spotted, gets the knock. Is there an answer? Order looks for it, and they do find the challenge that they were looking for. Hurt is there as well, looking for that backup. In a 3 versus 2 though, DRX still have the numbers.
DRX has the numbers, but do they have the wherewithal to figure out where Weibo is going to be up to? It seems like the forces are falling, and I think this is finally going to be the end, albeit a miracle play. DRX closing the vice grip, pushing forward. Weibo falls, and it will in fact be DRX taking game number 4 on Aragao.
Lying in wait, they move through the hills, a coordinated approach, a brilliant read onto Order's buggy rotation, looking for vision, and they will be able to find that knock, open up the bidding on that final engagement. Not enough utility from Weibo to be able to survive that final fight. They've got plenty of points though on the match, and they will be nearly level with DRX to find that one. 16 points for Weibo, and DRX up on 18, so a fairly minimal Elin chicken dinner.
Hey, whether it's minimal or not, that's 2 winner-winner chicken dinners of the 4 that we've seen today, which shows DRX has the proven ability to take games when it matters most and win, which is going to be so critical during the finals. DRX, all eyes on them today, and well, they look to catch up to the likes of 4 Thrives, Alpha 7. In fact, they could have very well taken 2nd place after this game alone. Weibo are no slouches to take that 1v1 and win it. DRX on top.
Absolutely, a little bit of revitalization coming through for Weibo from the bottom of the tables, able to put a big dent in the necessary gameplay to find it. Well, let's take a breather after that one as DRX are able to take the 4th chicken dinner of the day.